Hey everybody, welcome back to the sort of a DFS soccer recap. I got it right that time. Took 3 weeks. I'm Alex Hooper. Play a lot of daily fantasy soccer, and I like talking about it. And I'm joined by my buddy Tom Stoss, who just started playing DFS in the last 3 weeks, and I think enjoys it, and I think is having fun with it.
Yeah, I'm starting a new mantra to this whole thing. I've looked to the greatest, well, not one of the, well, a top British band of all time, Oasis. And they said, don't look back in anger. I'm not going to look back in anger. I'm just here to have fun and maybe win some money at some point. Yeah.
Noel Gallagher's also probably never played a city showdown slate, played that city roulette. If there's anything tilting where he'll look back in anger, I think it's that. Have you happened to play any city showdown stuff yet?
No, never looked at that.
It's fun. I would just say if you ever do max a 10-cent contest and just get wild, because you got to grab a lot of goals. But anyway, we're not going to talk about the city showdown, which I did pretty well on, but it was a 1-0 City match where you just had to get – it was a Kyle Walker goal, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
You got the Kevin De Bruyne assist in the captain spot and kind of rode that to, luckily, ownership being low on Walker. So, hey, we covered it anyway. But so what we're going to do this week – we're going to do things a little different. I think the first week we kind of just eased into things. Week 2, we looked at some cash games with some Sharks and saw what they did and kind of maybe not pick their brains, but tried to figure out what their theory was going into it. I had the brilliant idea this weekend to finally just challenge you to a 0-0 head-to-head so I can pick up both of our lineups next to each other and we can kind of talk about it. So we're going to go to the share screen on Saturday, then Sunday, and then today, which just ended, tilting Leicester City victory for me. But I'm easy to tilt. So, all right. So we're going to start Saturday. We'll look at our matchup on that day. Granted, now, again, the way this has been working is I feed you a little bit of information. You're doing most of the research at this point, and we're just trying to figure it out. But I'll generally give you a couple of guys that you're probably going to want to play. And so our lineups end up being pretty similar. And this isn't a competition, at least for me. I want you to beat me.
I'll get there.
Yeah, you'll get there eventually. And we kind of worked on that today. So we're going to talk about something a little – once we get to today, we had a little bit of an experiment. But let's look at our lineups on Saturday. Again, not to brag, but I had a pretty good day Saturday, and the only reason I say that is because I can actually look at this lineup and be like, hey, this is a nice lineup, and this is why I did this, as opposed to the other 2 weeks where it's like, I sucked, and don't take anything from what I did. But so we had the Liverpool, West Ham 2-1, and then Chelsea 3-0 over Burnley. Again, we'll take a look at my lineup here on the left first, as you can see the names. I didn't need to say that. Salah, Haller, Declan Rice, Hakeem Ziyech, Ben Chilwell, Matt Lowton, Edouard Mendy, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. You had Salah, Firmino, Wijnaldum, Ziyech, Robertson, Chilwell, Fabianski, and Rice. I assume I told you probably you're going to want Salah and then something to do with the Liverpool fullbacks. Does that sound about right? Did I feed you anyone else?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, you were you love Ziyech. I know that.
Yes.
So and that paid out. So yeah, you gave me the little tip on that. But I think other than that, I was working on my own there.
Gotcha.
We were tossing around like Chilwell being where he belonged in the mix.
Right. And whether or not Reece James would start and how that would affect things. So
right. Yeah.
So yeah, let's take a look at what I did, because again, I had a good day and I can just kind of explain what I was going for. Now, a lot of my lineup was affected by the fact that I played Jordan Cooper in a $20 or $50 head-to-head. I'm not sure he picked one of mine up, Blenderhead, who we talked about last week, and actually gave us some nice kind words on Twitter. I was mainly operating my cash lineup around what I thought he would do, just because it's a competitor in me and I look up to him and whatever. But he said on the RotoWire podcast basically what he was going to do. He's concentrating on football. He just won 50K or whatever. So I kind of had an idea of what he was going to do. I knew I wanted one of the Liverpool forwards, and I knew I wanted one of their fullbacks. And that was kind of where I started. And he said on the RotoWire podcast, like, if you want to chase me down with Chelsea forwards because of the pricing, go ahead and do it. And I did. I was really just looking for set piece takers. So I'll get to Ziyech when I get to him, I guess, even though it's not like I didn't work down from forward. But so I grabbed Salah. The only reason I kept Salah is because I thought he would have Salah. And otherwise, like if I were down, I would have pivoted to Mane. And I expected him to do the same thing, but then I realized he probably wasn't looking at our head-to-head the way that I was looking at our head-to-head. He's probably had a bunch, and he was just moving on trying to grab his points. So is it Sebastian Aller? I don't know his first name. For West Ham. This basically was, I got it right. I knew I was going to have to punt a forward. And I had a feeling Firmino was going to be in the mix, but I really just wanted a differential play here. I played this lineup in every cash game that I played, and I figured all things equal, Haller to Firmino, I thought I would rather have the leverage there. And I mean, it didn't work point for point, but it didn't hurt me because Firmino didn't do much. Declan Rice was, I think, a punt, if I recall, out of necessity. I think something happened where I had Wijnaldum in, but couldn't get to him. I don't know exactly how he got into that lineup. But again, he was a $3,000 punt. I knew I wanted Ziyech. As soon as I saw him starting for Chelsea, I wanted Hakim Ziyech because I thought he would be more I thought he'd have more upside than Ben Chilwell. And again, shout out to Gator Guy over at FSI. He gave me the confidence in Ziyech. I wanted to go with him, but Ben Chilwell took more sets in Europe earlier in the week. So I thought maybe even if he started, I wouldn't go to him. But Gator said that he thought Ziyech had more of an open play floor than Chilwell even without sets. So that gave me the confidence to play him, and thank God I did because he went off. But, yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to fade Ziyech. That's going to be a tough one. I went Chilwell instead of going double Liverpool fullbacks. Blender did go double Liverpool fullbacks. Again, I kind of saw that coming. I thought it was a better opportunity to throw Chilwell in there. Just, again, I didn't do it for a differential, but I went with him because I thought, again, like all things equal, I want the lesser owned guy. And if he was going to get sets against Burnley, I figured I'd let it go. Matt Lowton, I actually thought it was going to be a little closer of a match. I thought Burnley would hold their own. But I knew I wanted to punt down to Lowton because I wanted Edouard Mendy, and that paid off. I've said on here a million times, like, don't pay up for goalie, but I am okay with paying up for goalies against Burnley. Burnley's trash. They're a trash offense, and I had a good feeling about it, and it could have easily bitten me, but I liked it more than the other options. Like, there weren't a ton of options on the slate where, you know, that, well, let's see, Fabianski, you had him at 3.8, was like $1,800 wasn't going to do much for me. Like, it was going to get me up from Declan Rice to somewhere, or, I mean, I guess I could have turned it into Firmino, but I didn't want that anyway. So I just felt comfortable on this slate paying up for a keeper against Burnley, and that's basically all that was. And then I went with Trent Alexander-Arnold over Andy Robertson because I wanted differential, and they've been about even. I had a feeling Robertson would be more owned. I don't know if that wound up being the case, but that's why I went there. So that's my lineup. Again, I had a good day, and that's the only reason I'm going like 1 for 1 on everyone I picked in my lineup. But that's kind of where I was coming from. Some differential, some, you know, upside with Salah where, you know, I got a goal there, but if it were Mane, I don't think I would have been hurt too much because he was highly owned. So you want to run me through your lineup really quick and kind of what you were going for?
Before I get to that, you mentioned Robertson and TAA, choosing between the two. And this is something that every time I see Liverpool on a set of slates, it's like, I don't know how to pick between these two. Yeah, you get like pretty similar results out a lot of the time. almost like a coin flip between the two. Like, how, besides guessing probability of who's picking them, how do you choose between the two? Is there like anything performance-wise there?
I think TAA was a little better in the last two matches. So
Yeah.
form had something to do with it, but honestly, like on this slate in particular, ownership was like 98% of why I went with TAA. But that form had something to do with it. Let's see, what's the price? 68 to 65. So he was $300 cheaper, and again, like that wasn't going to get me much. But with all, obviously, I was punting. I punted Rice. I punted Lowton. So I was needing salary somewhere. I think normally it tells you how much salary is left. Actually, I think I can pop over here and see.
Okay.
How much salary I had left on that lineup. But that's really why I went there. That's not going to show me. That's not going to show me, but anyway, back to your line. Yeah, that is why I went there. Normally, so Robertson's going to take sets on the left half, left-footed, left back, and TAA is going to take him on the right. I don't know if there's any real way to predict that. You can look at who the wing backs are or like who the wings are for the opposing team and say like, well, this one side is a little less defensively sound. That happened in a match either today or yesterday where you could look at one of the sides and be like, I don't think that side can defend. So maybe like that factors into it a little bit if you look at lineups. But those are really the only things. I think in a vacuum, I'm going to go with TAA more times than not, especially if he's under-owned and cheaper, which I don't think is going to be the case. I bet next week they come out at the exact same price. I bet they're both 6,700.
Okay. Yeah, based on those numbers, I would think it would probably bump him up a little bit. Get him even.
And at that point, I don't know who goes more owned. Probably TAA.
Yeah, just going off the trend recently.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know that he would be so much more owned that I would go back to Robertson either. It's going to be a crapshoot, but for fun.
Yeah. As for my slate, a lot of these are, I can tell you off the top of my head, Declan Rice was a necessity punt. He seemed like the best bet, and I was, probably like 31,000 by that point. So I needed him there. I'm going to go up from the bottom just because I want to get crazy with it. Fabianski, I thought he would get a lot of work. And he had a couple saves in there, but it's kind of funny looking at Mendy. Like, did he have no saves? Is that am I seeing that right?
No, and that's the thing that you get a lot of times when you pay up for keepers. Like Ederson doesn't see a lot of work, Allison doesn't see a lot of work, and you just have to get that clean sheet. But like, there are times where Nick Pope, which I think at one point he was looking real good. I think when it was still 1-0 early, I think he still had close to 10 points, and I was like, see, I should have just played Pope. And then he gave up 2 more, and he sunk down to 6 points or something like that. But 4.28 is not bad out of the cheapest keeper. Like, I think you're happy with that 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a punt too. Now that I'm remembering, I was pretty restricted by that point because I spent up for those 2 defenders, and that held me back a lot. But Robertson, I guess we kind of talked about Chilwell. I figured he would still be active, and against Burnley, he would get the points that he was still a good pickup to have. Robertson was a coin toss pretty much, like we talked about. I was feeling that it was going to go the other way between the two. And then Wijnaldum, that was definitely a punt. I thought he would get a little bit more in the mix there. Just honestly, Firmino was a little superstition, I guess. Yeah. I faded him a couple times when I could have picked him up, and it always bites me in the ass. So that was just throw it at the wall. It's irresponsible, I know, but I just threw it out there.
That's him. But so here's the thing, you say those are punts, but those are also correlative punts. If you're going to punt, that's kind of what you want, because there's a good chance that Firmino assists Salah. There's a good chance that Wijnaldum assists Salah or Firmino. There's a good chance that Robertson assists any of the 3 of them, or maybe you get something crazy where Wijnaldum finds Robertson down the wing. And, if you're going to punt, correlate the punts. And Declan Rice is a mid, but he plays defensively. If you were a defender, he's a fine punt if you're going to punt down to Fabianski too, like a double punt and then be able to spend up everywhere. it's all about how it affects the rest of your roster. And if you're going to punt on this slate, like you wanted to punt Liverpool. So Firmino at 6,400, where he's at right now, like you could go to him every week and you're going to expect this output. But if you get anything else, you're happy. A lot of times a punt at forward, like Haller at 5,200 was hella cheap, but if he scored, it's more than I could ever imagine. I expected 0.6 out of him.
Yeah.
That was just the kind of slate that we had. So you're going to have those. And again, like you made the right punts in my estimation.
Okay.
But all right, so let's look at, I played the $1 contest. So I've been playing pretty much head-to-heads. So I don't have a lot of double-ups to look at and compare cash games. But let's just see how Nick 628 won the $1 crown. Or no, this is the $3 free max. Yeah. Okay. So this is a good one. Yeah, 150 to first. Salah, Abraham, Ziyech, Brownhill, Robertson, Silva, Mendy, Fornals. This is a GPP lineup. I think we both talked about how we almost went with Fornals as a $4,000 punt. But like,
I was sort of kicking myself about that, but I mean, who could have?
There was no reason to play him. There was really no reason to play him. I mean, he was 21% owned.
Yeah.
I don't think that I would have thought he was 21% owned. I would have thought 5 or 6% or something like that based on the slate. But
yeah.
So I mean, so Silva was a correlative punt with Mendy. Smart. Robertson was only 28% owned. That's not bad. Brownhill at 11% at 3,000 got 5 points, whatever. And then Ziyech getting that Tammy Abraham assist. I mean, that's a nice day. I don't know. There's nothing special about this lineup. Nothing. It's just he had Fornals and he caught that goal. He caught a lone goal, even though the goal came from a dude that was almost owned as much as one of the chalkiest players on the slate. So, like, I don't know. You get a 53% own goal. Let's see. Let me look at Saturday really quick because I'm regretting this already. Let's see who got these goals again. Ziyech got one.
Was Zuma and
Zuma got it.
Yeah.
I actually expected Zuma to be in the optimal lineup, and I had him. I had Zuma with Ziyech, Cat, and Mendy in my showdown lineup, and I actually won the $5. I think I won like 150 on 5 or something because I had Zuma, so I shouldn't have forgot that one. And then Timo. If anyone had Timo in the optimal lineup, like people would have been so mad just because Pulisic got hurt and he had to come in. And then, all right, so who else had these goals? Salah had one. Jota off the bench from Shaqiri off the bench, and then Fornals. So, yeah, I mean, he had, 3 goals? 3 of the 6 goals on the slate. 1, 2, 3, and a clean sheet. I'm surprised that one, to be honest. I'm surprised you didn't have to have Zuma. Although, I mean, Silva with a shot on goal, a shot, 4 deflections, tackle 1, a clean sheet. Whatever. I don't know how – the fact that he outscored Mendy, I mean, like, I guess that's Zuma level. So, all right, well, we spent way too much time on that one. I tried to get us down to 20 minutes, and I think we spent 20 minutes talking on just that one slate. So let's move quickly to Sunday, which was a hell day for me.
Yeah. This is
I beat you by 1 point because we had one difference. There's not really a lot to talk about in this one, is there?
Yeah, that's
I forgot about that. All right, cool. So we can move along quickly. Damn it if there wasn't just there was a late goal in every single match that knocked me out of the money in every showdown and classic. And I think the last one, what was it, the Alba penalty that they then said should not have been a penalty at all?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Love that did me in too. And it doesn't look like I would have been competitive, but that knocked me out of a couple cash spots.
I think it was a pretty low scoring slate because this was a 2-2. You had, I mean, I think both underdogs won. So then naturally, like, you're going to have lesser own goals across the board. So we both we had the same lineup. We had the same lineup except you went John Joe Kenny and I went Jamal Lewis. And I had mentioned the double Everton fullback punt to you, and then I just didn't do it. I had the extra – I mean, that was literally the last spot, and I was like, I have the extra 600 or whatever. So I went up to Lewis knowing he was going to be a fullback, and he was really good at Norwich. and I didn't know what we were going to get out of John Joe. And I also kind of saw this coming. I think I knew that we had pretty similar lineups, so I wanted to have at least one differential in there. But I can't say I did that personally and knew I was going to win because of it. So the slate sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, so no one – Calvert-Lewin.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Late goal got us.
Yeah.
Aba, late goal, got us. Like the two big-time forwards that we faded, we went with the other two big-time forwards, and then, we faded Willian because Willian sucks for Arsenal. Bruno didn't do much. I think he came off pretty early. Sigurdsson did what we thought he was going to do. Saint-Max didn't do much. Basically, I think you had to have Callum Wilson on this slate. We both went with Darlow. I don't know what I just tried to pronounce, but
Darnell.
That's our guy, Darnell. Oh, okay, so I got cash games here. I played some cash, and I did better than Rich and Quagmire and Pew. Feel better about that. Didn't do better than Saint-Maximin. We'll get to him in a second. All right, so how'd you win this thing? Aba, Callum.
Yeah.
Normal play. Basically the same thing, except they picked the right goal scorers. Happens. And he picked Willian, which 7.32. Great. Saint-Maximin got the Aba goal. Willian, let's see. He stacked Arsenal a little bit. Yeah, he got the Leno clean sheet.
Yeah.
Number 2 player in the world. He's got us on something. Luke Shaw, not a bad play at 4,400. I kicked him around a little bit. He was actually going to play on the wing and get up the field. 8.4, that's a nice return for him. But, yeah. I would not have felt comfortable stacking Arsenal. I thought they were going to – I didn't think they were going to get killed by United because United's not great form. But, they had the scoring. And then let's see. Marikov, Aba.
Yep.
It's just about Aba. It's if you went Aba instead of Rashford, or if you just got Callum Wilson. Is this a Newcastle stack? Oh boy, it is. Fats Homer is pretty good. I see him a lot.
Yeah, me too.
It was 100% owned. That was obviously going to happen. Darlow 43, whatever. John Joe, Jamal Lewis was in a lot of optimal lineups. Looks like. Again, cheap. He went Rashford too. Yeah, he just got that Callum goal.
Okay.
Just had to get goals.
I feel better having. I don't know. I was regretting Saint-Maximin a little bit. But
he's a guy that's normally like a GPP only, but this was a slate where, again, as soon as you saw Everton's predicted lineup, you kind of thought Newcastle would have an all right time, and it should have been a clean sheet. And that Darlow clean sheet should have pushed us up a little bit. And then, of course, of all people, DCL spurned us last week, and then he comes through with that little tap in at the 93rd minute when it didn't even matter. Darlow, I don't even think made an effort, but someone obviously didn't tell him that we had him.
Yeah, we got to get the word out next time. Come on.
I don't think I've seen any Calvert-Lewin. There's one.
There we go.
9th place. Did he cash? Yeah, he
20
cashed.
points off that. Wow.
Yeah, is that what you want to?
Yeah.
We should have done that last week when we finished negative.
Yeah, if only.
Olsen, the keeper. Abasso and I did about the same thing. That makes me happy. But got that. Wow, we got Aba and didn't even cash. And Siggy. And it came down to his goalie. Hate to see it. All right. So we tried something different today. It didn't necessarily work out. But this is our big lesson of this day, this slate. And we got about 7 minutes to talk about it because I can't shut up. This is the day with that tilting ass Leicester match that I hate so much. Still very mad about it. Can't tell. But so basically what happened was I texted you this morning. I was listening to, again, Blender, Jordan Cooper. I was listening to the Theory DFS today at the car dealership as I got my car worked on. And they talked about leverage a bunch. And I learned a lot. And it's something I've been trying to control for a while. And I did it a little bit this weekend with I thought about it a lot more than I normally think about. I think I can generally project ownership, but I don't think I've ever made some big decisions based on it until I went TAA the other day. So basically, I said, I'm going to send you my lineup. I'm going to send you my whole lineup before it happens. I want you to choose which guys you think you like and you think would be chalky or good chalk. Doesn't exist, but that you wanted to keep, and then pick some guys that were you think you can find some leverage points at similar price points or whatever and find more points than I have. As you can see from our lineups, this is our most different set of lineups in the entire week.
Yeah. Once you set me free, I'm gonna go buck wild. I'm gonna get crazy with it.
So our lineups look much different.
Yeah.
Instead of Helder Costa, I had Rodrigo. I think you had Rodrigo. I expected James Madison to start. I had him originally. I kept Dallas. I kept Robinson. I kept Arriola, and I kept Harrison. So mine wasn't that different. I just changed Rodrigo and Madison in for Costa and Harvey Barnes, which we'll get to in a second. But what did your lineup look like originally?
Yeah, I had Rodrigo in there. Let's see. I think I had Jack Harrison. Harrison on Leeds.
Yeah.
And then I think I didn't originally have Dallas in there because of cost. I had the other fullback.
McKaylin.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And then once Rodrigo was out, had to move things around and decided to roll the dice on Bamford, just because I needed the points. Thought that they would do better, but yeah, that's how it was looking before.
And you were down after the first match too.
Yes.
Yes. Or were you? You had.
I think we were a lot closer. I didn't actually play. I played Mitrovic in this one for some reason. I think that was what I was thinking would be my my play there. So I kept him in this one to see, but I didn't actually play him for cash, unfortunately.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. No, that's my fault. We talked about that, and
you probably would have cashed.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, that's true.
In retrospect, because Jamie Vardy had two, and people like to play Jamie Vardy in cash at 9,200 or whatever the hell he was.
Yeah, good call.
I guess. I mean, it wasn't a bad play today, especially on the showdown. Because if you're going to spend up for Bamford, if you can find that 1,000, which not everyone can find the 1,000. I was much happier playing the Fulham guys, but let's see. Did we got somewhere else? Not really. I screwed up at forward bad. You did much better at forward, although you paid a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you went Pereira because I had Madison, right? It was kind of figure out after Carney, you have Harrison, Pereira, Madison, and that was kind of it. And I had Harrison and Madison when I sent you that lineup.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. That's why I had Pereira in the mix, which was a choice.
And I believe I told you that Pereira had the best floor on the slate.
Oh, okay, that's why. All right.
So,
I was wondering what I was thinking there. I kind of forgot.
So Dennis Praet almost matched him. So I sabotaged you a little bit. I also got hella lucky on my guy, Harvey Barnes.
Yeah.
So what happened on that is I was going back between Yuri Tielemans and Mark Albrighton.
Uh-huh.
Who was going to be on the sets with James Madison out? It gets really murky for Leicester. And I was leaning Tielemans, and then I was leaning Albrighton. I was leaning Tielemans, and I asked Gator Guy, because I still defer to him. This is not a tout site. This is not a tout show. I still go to my guy when I need help. Someone, I think Narikov, who we looked at his lineup before, I think he asked, would you just play Harvey Barnes here? He was like, yeah, you can play Harvey Barnes over two of those guys because I don't think the sets are going to end up mattering. The sets didn't end up mattering, and Harvey Barnes scored in the third minute, and I was like, that makes me happy. But then Tielemans scores two anyway, and then Vardy in his dumbass ownership. Yay. Took it down. So I got lucky with Barnes, and let's see. It dropped 14 points. I still would have had you probably because of Arriola, and you moved off to Harrison. Harrison had the assist to Dallas. So if you didn't change to Dallas, I really would have got you. So.
Yeah.
So we'll probably try this again. We'll probably try a lesson in leverage on another day. But that's what we were going for. let's look really quick at what the top lineups from. Again, I only played the 3 max because I don't want to get killed in GPP anymore, and I'm doing mostly head-to-head. So let's take a look at the top lineup. Tielemans, Vardy, I'm sure was some sort of Leicester stack. This guy ran a train in third and probably made about 150 on the same lineup. Vardy, he got the Cordova, he got the assist, he got every goal. He got every goal.
Yeah, he sure did.
And a clean sheet.
Yeah, well, well done.
So, like, I like this lineup. I really like this lineup. So let me kind of look at what he did. I assume it was all planned, and then we'll get out of here after I kind of run us through this. This is a Leicester stack, right? Vardy, Tielemans. No, not really. It's more of a Fulham stack.
Yeah.
It's not really a total stack. He went with the more obvious Leicester pieces. I would venture to say that he probably had James Maddison in his original lineup.
Yeah.
He went with, Harrison's the best play on Leeds every day, especially with Phillips out. So that was a smart play. I think the pivot to Cordova-Reed was, that's a great GPP pivot because we were all looking at Lookman and Mitrovic. And if there's a third guy there, it's like when you got Son and Kane and then Lucas or Lamella in a GPP, like Lamella or Lucas, whoever that is a decent pivot. Now, using Spurs as an example for any sort of success in DFS is not necessarily the best baseline, but it's the principle. Like,
that's what I know.
Right.
I've seen enough of them to, I get that.
Comes from my head. Down my mind. So, 8%. If he scores, way better. And then Aina is how I'll pronounce it today. 25% on. I'm actually kind of shocked by that. More than Stuart Dallas at 46. Like, I didn't know a whole ton about him. I would have thought that he was the lesser owned Fulham fullback. But he scored, and that's what mattered. That's what mattered today. And then he get the clean sheet out of Areola. I think he was right on the Fulham lean, but he went off kilter with the forward. I'd be interested to see. I don't know if I can pull up his other lineup.
Yeah, I was curious about that. Oh,
yeah, that's all I can see. Doing this in real time, folks, and I can't type, and you can all see it in real time. Apparently, yeah, maybe his other line didn't cash. I'd be interested to see what that other lineup looked like because, he went with the guys to play from Leicester, and he went with the guys, Harrison and Dallas are probably two of the best floor plays that you could go with on Leeds. And Diangana for West Brom is, he was better than Pereira. He's kind of that secondary set taker guy. I play him often in West Brom showdowns. So, he played those guys, and he just pivoted in the right spots. And that's how you win a GPP. It's not about making a bunch of 1% plays. It's not about, punt. It's not like I'm going to play Firmino and not Salah and Mane, and I'm going to play Rodri and Gundogan and not De Bruyne, and I'm going to play Juan Mata in my utility spot, not Bruno. You don't punt. You make the punts in the right spots, and that's how you win. He went with the smart money elsewhere. The smart money scored, and he got the punts right, and that's how you win. So, shout out.
Yeah.
That's in your perfect lineup. Is that every goal on the slate? Tielemans? No, he didn't get Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The Harvey Barnes goal is the only one he missed, and I don't think he could fit Harvey Barnes in that lineup. So that's probably the nuts. I would guess that I'm trying to think of someone who might have scored Diangana, but it would have had to be 68, and I don't remember how much Barnes was. I think he was 76 or something. So that's damn close. I guess he might have been able to get up from Harrison to Harvey Barnes, but I think Harrison outscored him. So.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah, nice lineup, dude.
How much was Harvey Barnes? Do you remember off the top of your head? Was he in the 8s? Oh, yeah.
I had him. That's not my lineup.
Yeah.
We got him in one. I have him in this other one. Let me pull it up as soon as the Zoom bar goes away. This is live. You're seeing it live. Harvey Barnes is 65.
Oh yeah,
he was
could have
not
got
as
him.
expensive. So if
But-
he could have, our guy could have had him. He could have had
Yeah, if
Harvey
he wanted
Barnes.
the
And I
perfect
think that
goal
would have been the nuts.
Yeah. Oh well. He still won a good amount of money, so
150
can't
on
knock him too
$3.
much.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
bad at him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shoot. That's a week. I mean, it was a weird week. I came out of Saturday. I'm like, I think I made 100% return on investment. I think I made like
Nice.
350 on 350 or something like that. It's a nice day.
Uh-huh.
And then the next day was Tilt City. That's what happens.
Yeah.
It was a fun ride. And we played around with stuff and we learned some things this week.
Yeah, I'd say. I learned that I'm only lucky in European competitions. That's what I learned. That's the only thing I can do.
With the prize pools, it's not the worst place to be lucky. I know I'm not lucky in UCL. I got one ticket, got one entry tomorrow's big. I think it's 20,000 first. So
Nice.
here comes the Red Bull Salzburg stack. Dominic Sobolai.
Oh, I'm gonna try him out again. Yeah,
Oh yeah, he scored for you, didn't he?
he sure did. I can't fade
Hungarian
him now.
hope.
I love him.
Us Eastern European boys.
Yeah.
I'm like 90% Irish, but I claim to be Hungarian.
I have no connection to my ethnicities at all. I just know what they are. That's about it.
I don't think there's. Aren't you somewhat Lithuanian?
Yeah, I don't really know what that means. I should play basketball.
Zagurnis, yeah.
I should. Yeah.
That's all we got. I don't think they have a great soccer team. All right, man. Do you have any other questions? Any other theory hang-ups?
I got nothing.
We didn't do our pat on the back regret.
Oh.
Do you have any? Just from the weekend in general.
I guess I regret Pereira from today. Nothing really sticking out. No.
Any from earlier in the week? I'm just trying to think.
I don't know. Nothing that really like was one thing that really broke me, at least in terms of regrets. And then I'm a little bit wary to pat myself on the back because I get a lot of help.
That's fine.
But
You're allowed.
Yeah.
You made some decisions without me. Let's see. My biggest regret was, I guess like Rashford over Alba would have changed everything for me, and I was considering it, but I didn't feel great about Saint-Maximin on Saturday anyway, and I played him. So I'm going to go with that as my regret. Saturday, I'm going to say that my biggest pat on the back was that Kurt Zuma lineup, because realistically, when I look at my return on investment over the entire weekend, like that was what kind of held me up. So
I think the only one I stick out and regret picking Rashford. I didn't know which one I didn't like more, Rashford or St. Max in there, but I think it's Rashford just because I missed out on probably a lower ownership guy who probably had a higher return. You know what I mean? So like, I can't. I'm more upset that I wasted that instead of playing St. Max. You know,
there's something to learn there.
Yeah.
Every time you pay up for a forward, and especially every time you pay up for a goalie, and it doesn't work out, like that's always the tilt. And again, like we're playing cash games mostly, so it's just a lesson. Like, don't pay up for guys who don't have floors unless you have to. These slates you had to.
Yeah.
The Alba, Rashford, Willian decision was not a decision anyone wants to make, and it changed the slate. And that's fine. That's what happens in these games, and you get them right like maybe 40% of the time.
That was in my thought with when picking between the two on that game was like, which one of these guys is not going to show up is really more I was thinking about, like who can I count on to just sit on their butt all day and and not really come up with anything.
And when you're down to things like that, like you got to think of the tiebreakers.
Yeah.
And I guess like this is all I'm coming up with because it's how it happened, but like you knew Bruno was on PKs for United.
Right.
and Auba was on PKs for Arsenal. So, like, maybe you lean Auba for that, but I have a thing where, like, when I look at odds, I decide which team I think is going to win. And I don't really do a good job of accounting for, like, just because a team wins doesn't mean another team will have goals. So I think I tried to correlate Rashford. I like Rashford more as a player. I think he's more dynamic. And I thought Arsenal was just bad recently. So that's what factored into my decision there. So I also like Rashford more as a person. Not that Aubameyang's doing anything, but like that definitely I choose Rashford a lot because of things he does for those kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's not a great reason to pick him. So. All right, well that'll wrap it up for us tonight. We might have got under 40 minutes.
Under 40, yeah. I think
40.
just
if I shut up and get out of here, we'll get out. It was 37 last week. I think we probably did about the same things. Yeah. We'll do better next time. Hopefully we'll do better in DFS as well.
Yeah.
But just need to have a couple more of those Saturdays. All right, until next time, I'm Alex. That's Tom.